the second day in the loser bracket, I just DC'd every 5 seconds, literally, and it was it was very stressful, just dying every now and then, every 5 seconds, literally, and just hearing the cast. The cast. I don't think the casters even realized that I was DCing.
No.
It's like, oh, he's dead
And
again.
then,
Yeah.
he's dead. And then I remember someone was saying like, "Oh, that's the enhancement glass cannon. He like he does damage, but then he just dies easily." But it wasn't that at all. I was just DCing literally every other minute, and that I think I died 8 times in that Halls of Valor.
But the crazy thing with that Musa game where he DC'd just the entire time basically is that we still won that map.
Hi, I'm Sean with RIO, and today we're sitting down with one of my personal favorite teams coming out of the season's MDI, Ducks Can Fly. Joining me today is Luca, Porix, and Mosa. Thanks for being here, team.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to take a minute just before we dive into things and really get a feel for who the Ducks are. I want to give a shot to introduce all three of you to anybody who may be new to Ducks Can Fly. So I just want you to say your name, your favorite social handle where people can follow you, and what your favorite dungeon is from this current season. Let's start with you, Luca.
Sure, so I'm Luca. I'm the healer for Ducks Can Fly. I've been playing, mostly Druid and Priest for the MDI, and usually I just main Resto Shaman otherwise. You can find me on Twitch, although I don't stream very often, but it's Luca with a K _wow. Be sure to give me a follow for whenever I stream. It's, every now and then. And you wanted to know my favorite dungeon?
Yeah.
I think it has to be City of Threads, just because of the MDI.
Oh, good answer. Good answer. City of Threads is a great dungeon. Love it. All right, Quarks, let's go with you next.
Hi, my name is Corks. I'm one of the 3 DPS players in the comp, usually the ranged guy. So if there is a ranged spot, I will have it. I'm like the anti-melee fan, although this MDI kind of turned things around. Triple melee comps and such. I usually main mage, but I play any ranged spec pretty much. But if there is mages in the meta, I will play that. Favorite dungeon of this season? I think I would also pick Luca's answer, but I don't want to copy paste, and I will just say Grim Battle only because Goat hates it.
Okay, Grim Batal. That's not a popular answer, I don't imagine, with the vast community. Cool. And Mozart, yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Moza. I'm one of the other 2 DPS for Ducks Can Fly. I'm in pretty much enhancement shaman since I've started playing the game, but I've played in the MDI like Unholy DK before, and pretty much. My favorite dungeon is I don't really have a strong favorite, but I would say actually City of Threads, just because it was a highlight for us in the MDI. So
Perfect.
that's it.
As a long-time enhancement shaman main, is this like your glory season? Or are you walking around like,
this
I've been
is
telling
this
you
season's
guys?
been crazy.
Yeah.
Like getting to
I love
play my main and it being this strong, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's incredibly strong. That must feel that's a really nice feeling. I love it. Okay, all right. So that's who's here with us today, folks. This is Ducks Can Fly. We're gonna dive into what they did this season in the MDI and what they've done in past MDIs. But we're gonna start with the question everybody wants to know: where does the name Ducks Can Fly come from?
Luca, you want to do the honors?
Well, I think it's for you because I wasn't there when it happened.
Weren't you? I thought we were all there. Do you even remember, Corks?
Yeah, I do. Well, it was actually very simple. Goat one day just asked the brilliant question, guys, can ducks fly? Did you guys know this? And I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, what the fuck? And basically from there started the meme. And when we were about to decide the team name, we said, okay, let's use that. And I think it was Goat that picked it up first. So that's where it started from. But for some reason, on the very first application we did to join Season 1 in Dragonflight on the MDI, we tried out the name, but for censorship purposes, it did not allow us.
Really?
Because that word sounds very similar to some other words.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
Just the auto censor thing for the RIO that like censors the team name.
So the first official name was Anatidae, can fly, which is like the scientific term for ducks.
Okay.
Yep, and that's the story.
I like
It's short
that.
one.
How long did it take you to get them to realize, hey, we're not trying to make any memes here. We just really.
I think it was after the time trials where you get officially on the Discord channels and you get to put your team name on your nickname. So
Right.
yeah, it was
That's
easier
fun.
then.
I like that. So you mentioned that's a great point to jump to. You mentioned your first MDI was Dragonflight Season 1. How long had you been playing together as a group before you decided, hey, you know what? Let's conquer the world?
So Crux and I and Goat, who's our tank, we started playing in BFA.
Mm-hmm.
We were just like, pushing keys at the time, and I mean, there was a lot more time between seasons. We just spent a lot of time pushing in BFA. Just the last season was like already really long. Then through Shadowlands, we played a bit less, but we were still kind of like on and off every other season or whatever. And Mosa, I forgot when you joined. If you can remind me.
I was in season 1 Dragonflight, I think, but I'd already been playing with Goat and Mirage before because they were in my guild. So I already know them kinda. I didn't really push with them, but I did like a key here and there, and then like I started pushing with them in season 1 Dragonflight.
Okay, cool. And then you were just like, hey, you know what? We're really good at this. Let's give the MDI a shot.
Well, I don't know whether they're really good at this sport, but we just thought we might try it.
But basically, the thing is that I would like to say, if you hate pugging, I know that people hate pugging a lot, but this is really a good way to make friends and communities like this in the game. I think this is the very start, because like through pugging I met Goat, and through another friend that I found through pugging I met Luca, which I forgot now, but I only kept playing with Luca from that group. And eventually the three of us were looking for 2 other DPSs during that season. Just another hunter and another rogue back then. I was fire mage, Luca was playing his shaman, the only shaman in BFA. Everyone was playing rested druid. Luca was like the rebel. And God was playing protection war. And this kept going into Shadowlands, and through, other friends and connections, we kept, playing with others and so on. I remember Mosa and Mirage, even though he would deny it. I think he denied it once that he ever played with us, but I think I knew him for a couple keys back then. But we met Mirage, was it end of Shadowlands Season 3 or start of Season 4? But I think the first season we actually pushed with Mirage was the Shadowlands Season 4 season. And when Mosa entered the group in the start of Dragonflight, we were like, okay, we have a complete group. Finally, we don't need to search for other people. So we thought, yeah, let's give it a shot, because we already thought about it from the TGP in Shadowlands. And we were like, yeah, if we were 5, it would be nice, to give it a try. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the short story.
It's also because so we used to just push keys, and when you push key back then, it's a bit less like that now. But the start of the season doesn't really matter because you just don't have gear. The bosses get nerfed, the dungeons get nerfed. You get a 0.5 patch where you just get more powerful, and it's like you just kind of push the last 2-3 weeks and you're kind of done. But like before that, for the rest of the season, it felt like trying out the MDI felt natural, I guess, to have like some form of competition before pushing actually matters.
Yeah, and it almost helps you get to know the dungeons a little more, right? Because you're spending time on the tournament realm, you're really digging in there, and you're already you're getting a snapshot of what you're going to look like at max power because you're on the tournament realm. You can pull all that gear in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You get to experiment a lot more. I mean, to the point that to some of us, we don't even want to push anymore online. Well, if it was tournament day every day, that's what we would do. it's pressuring, it's frustrating at points, but it's much more enjoyable than on live, where you're restricted by other things like gears or randomness in your key and things like this. And,
Yeah, I like that. Mozart, can you take me back? Do you remember when you guys were just ducklings and it was your first MDI? You're on the tournament realm and you're preparing, you're practicing. Do you remember what those first practice days looked like? Did you have them scheduled out?
Well, this first season, I remember I was playing Unholy DK. Mirage was Feral Druid, I think. I think Korux was a Shadow Priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it was basically just like trying these crazy routes for the first time. It was very different than like pushing high keys that we're used to. So it was like a learning moment, I would say, for the whole season, basically.
Yeah. Did you get on the tournament realm and right away you were like, okay, we have to schedule out. This is our lunch. This is our practice period. This is our lunch window.
Well, we didn't really have any like long days of like practice for the full day because we have kind of a big conflict in schedule, I would say, most days. So the only day we would really like practice the entire day is probably Saturday, I think.
Okay.
And then the rest of the days were like, oh, we can play like a few hours after 7 maybe until like 3 or after 9 until 3. So it was basically a few hours each day and then one big day.
Okay. I got it. That makes sense. You guys, I should ask, you guys are you full-time like esports competitors or do you have jobs outside of this?
No. I think all of us have different commitments, like in real life. Like,
Okay.
I'm personally an engineer.
Okay.
I'm actually just came off work, so yeah. And I know Luca also has a busy schedule in his job. We all of us have jobs in real life and commitments.
Yeah, that's why like
elsewhere.
the schedule is very conflicted, I would say. So most days it's like a few hours, like I said.
Right. Yeah. That's do you find how does that affect your mental as you're preparing, going up against teams that you know, like Mandatory or Perplexed or previously Echo? Like you're like, oh, this is all they do. Oh, and I can watch them do it while I'm working.
Well, it's definitely a challenge, but I mean, to be honest, now that we have reached where we did, we have always been joining these tournaments for fun. I believe I speak for all of us that we do this mostly for a personal satisfaction and the few precious moments that we have together for this, rather than to compete to reach first place and make a living out of this. Nobody knows what the future holds, but for now, I mean, at least personally speaking, I really enjoy this level of gameplay, But yeah, seeing this from this perspective, you don't really feel such a tense, competitiveness with those teams, because you will not really reach their level. You need to get to actually invest so many hundreds and thousands of hours into your schedule to actually do that, and so that's something that we cannot really afford.
Yeah, it's a bit disheartening, I would say, that we like it's just a time constraint that is nothing we can do about.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I believe though, ducks can fly. You guys, it could happen. It's I'm not gonna hold out hope yet. We're gonna see.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you guys have. I just want to talk about like your journey, your progress so far from that first MDI in Dragonflight season 1 up to the one now where you had such an amazing finish. You finished 16th in the Dragonflight season 1 MDI time trials, and then finished in the 7th, 8th spot in the Group B of that season. Then you placed top 10 in the season 3 time trials, and you went out to again 7th or 8th in the group section. And then you made it to the global finals of War Within MDI season 1. But not did you just make it to the global finals, you finished in that 5th, 6th spot in the global finals, which is a result that I think not a lot of people could have predicted. Going into this season specifically, did you feel like you had jumped that much better? Like, were you guys going in? Was it a shock to you, or did you know sort of going in? Maybe Luca, how did you guys feel coming into this season?
Well, first of all, I feel like the first time we participated and we qualified and we finished, we lost the first round of the loser bracket. I feel like that was like worse than we should have done, and this time around was better than we should have done.
Okay.
It's just that the stars aligned, and the times before they really didn't. But because of how the MDI is just so volatile, like anything can happen in one game.
Yeah.
We lost against teams before that we should have won against. If we played 10 times, we would have won maybe 8 of them, and we just lost. And this time around was kind of the opposite, and we won. I mean, it was only really against no title, I guess, and maybe Cursed. I think the main difference this time around, though, was our loser bracket game. So we used to just lose immediately in the loser bracket. And this time we played Advance the first time in the loser bracket, and we just had a very convincing win. And we played pretty much like everything as planned, which is what we aim for, right? We don't plan to beat mandatory or whatever, because we just don't have the time for that, and it's not even really possible. If they have a clean run, they'll just do a better time. But against the tier 2 teams, the teams that are a bit below, we want to do the best we can, and we did better than before. But I think it was a mix of we get better at it, but we also had the stars aligned and and it just happened, right?
Right. They say luck is a mix of opportunity and timing or something else. There's a phrase there. It's a great quote. I'll probably cut it in editing so I sound smarter than I am. But yeah, I love that. So you just mentioned that you didn't really felt like you've gotten better over the seasons, but you didn't. Has there been a? I guess my question here is, has there been like a concentrated let's find a way to progress, or as you mentioned, is it just like we're just going to do this for fun? However it shakes out, it shakes out. Like, have you worked at getting better, or is it just naturally happening?
Personally, I feel like we did we tried to do the exact same we did every other time, in practice. We just practiced keys. We played a few hours every day, and it's basically the same as every other time. We just played cleaner, I guess. And like Lucas said, it was just a mix of a bunch of things.
Okay.
I think there's also, we do get better at doing the same thing. And there's a lot of times where we have to take decisions. Like the biggest one is how to allocate time. Because we don't have unlimited time, we need to pick which maps to play, what route do we play? Do we play whatever we saw the best team do? Or is that too difficult with our limited time again? Like, we don't have days and days to practice the same route. So if it's that difficult, I think we that's how we won as well. It's that the other teams, they just tried to copy the hardest route and they wiped. And we went for safer routes because we figured we don't have time to practice this and have a high enough success chance. So we're going to add one pool, make the route a bit safer. Decisions like that were harder to make the first time around. I remember because we even tried to just play comfort picks instead of playing the meta comfort DPS, and that just ended up, I feel, slowing us down.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think one thing we did get a lot better in is just decision making and just picking which maps we play, which how much we play that map. Because gameplay wise, I don't think anyone got significantly better.
Okay. You. Yeah, Quarks thinks he got better.
No. Definitely not. Or maybe I had the most room for improvement. I don't know. I don't know. I think I will agree with everything because that's basically how it is. It's we get better at managing time and things that we didn't think about at the beginning of actually going with them, especially season 1 in my mind pops up, is we automatically go and make correct decisions on this aspect now. Correct, when I say, I mean being what Lucas said, being faster at deciding that, okay, maybe we should drop this and go for something else and like this. On the other hand, we have made plenty of bad decisions. For example, our expectation on this tournament was probably to lose from Cursed, although we did end up winning 2-0. But having this in hindsight, we were practicing a lot of Necrotic Wave because it was the first map on the next game, and it was one of the next maps in match 9. So we spent actually quite a fair amount of time on it. Then after we won, everything changed, and we were like, okay, so that's 40% of our time wasted. So it can be volatile. But
yeah, and one
Yeah.
dungeon that we didn't practice that we should have practiced a lot more was Miss, for example, because that ended up
Yeah.
being a very important dungeon against Polish Mountain that we basically done like maybe 1 hour of total practice in Miss, I think, and I think that cost
Yeah.
us the game against Polish Mountain.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah,
You
no
guys,
problem.
listen. Whenever I have a chance to talk to people, I'm like, I try to listen to the answers and like pick out like, okay, I want to follow up with this question, and you just gave me so many follow up questions. I want to try and hit them all. I might miss one, so if I do, I'm sorry. If like in 10 minutes from now, if I'm like, oh, I remember. If I jump back, I apologize. That's what it is. But I want to talk about you all talked heavily there about deciding what maps to practice and how to practice them. But I want to talk on the flip side of that. How do you decide what maps to ban when it comes up?
Very good one. So, okay, sometimes, very rarely, we might gamble, but usually we would think, okay, what map did they have to play? So, like, for example, we play against, in the loser bracket, we play against another team that one map that we didn't have in our first game was their mandatory map. So, and we only have it, let's say, once in the expected series of games that we will have. That's kind of a no-brainer for us to ban this map, because it's something that they have practiced, something that we shouldn't practice because that's the only time we play it. But the most important criterion is the amount of time we have. So we don't have enough time to practice all 8 maps, for sure. So if we do that, we will then dilute our practice time into maps that we probably won't even encounter, and we will leave unpracticed maps that are important to the games. So we will pick 2 or 3 that are really important ones and focus on them, and then say another 1 or 2 that might have a chance and ban the rest, the rest of the cases. That's pretty much how it ends up working. So
I like that. Okay. So I want to give a peek behind the curtain for how the MDI works for anybody who's watching who hasn't had the chance to actually be on the big stage. When Blizzard asks you for bans, you don't see the other team's bans, right? It's just they ask you, how does that feel when you both ban the same map?
I mean, we plan for that. Like, we don't care what the other team is going to ban. We just
Right.
like either we play against the team we expect to not win against, like when we play against Mandatory or Perplex or whatever. Then we don't really care what they ban. We're going to try our best on the maps we have to play, and that's just how it's going to be. And if we play in the loser bracket or a team we feel like we have a chance against, we just prepare for any ban from them, even if we have preferences, obviously. But this time around was a bit special because of our first game against Cursed. And like, because we always lost, like we lost in the first round before, and I think it's pretty natural to feel like, okay, next time around, we want to just do better, right? We want to plan to win that first game. But we expected that to happen in the loser bracket. So just after the very first game, our plan was just completely obsolete. Yeah. And we already reached our goal of like doing better than the previous time. It's just, well, now, I don't know, we just improvise, I guess.
yeah, it's a weird situation. If you don't know, do you feel good or bad now? Like,
I like that. Do you have stretch goals? Your goal is like, do better than last time. Okay, we hit that. Well, what's our next goal? I don't have any more goals. Yeah, I like that. So we talked. So banning maps 1. All right, we got that checked off. Next, so you mentioned you don't just copy. You don't just look and say what's mandatory running. Okay, we're gonna run that. You run duck routes. So you're gonna run your route the best way that you can run it. Who decides do you plan those out together? Do you have one like route master? And I know I'm probably pronouncing that weird because I'm from Canada. I apologize. But is there like one person who's like, here's the run we're gonna do, or do you do it as a team?
It's as a team. It's
I
a
think
very
it's a
long
team.
discussion.
Yeah,
about
very
which
tense
routes.
discussion sometimes. Usually, Goat starts linking routes. Oh, and sometimes there are silly things inside. Sometimes there are smart things inside. Actually, I'm not gonna take away credit because he does a lot of work on his downtime. Trying to plan things out. Even now that we are sort of playing on live, he's like still looking at others and trying to figure out routes. But on the tournament, he usually would share a route, and then we would all comment. We will swap it like 3, 4, 5 million times. And oh, this route is better. Oh, but this is blatantly obvious. Oh, we should do one less pull, or we should do one more pull. It's just getting crazy. It's as a team. TLDR as a team.
I like that. That's a great answer. That makes me happy. I'm happy that it says a team. You guys have this. You've got this energy of like, I don't know, in North America, I assume it was a global movie because it's Disney, but there's a movie called The Mighty Ducks, and it's about this. Yeah.
Let's go.
In my guild, we reference that movie a lot. So
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you guys, like for us, we all were like sort of growing up when that movie came out. We're like, you guys are the Warcraft Mighty Ducks. So we're cheering for you. Actually, talking about the Mighty Ducks, in that movie, Emilio Estevez plays Coach Bombay. Is there a coach for Ducks Can Fly? Do you have a coach for your team?
No.
No, not really.
No?
Sadly, no. Coach Bombay stayed at the movie. He didn't come.
Okay. I like that. Okay. That works. It's probably for the best. Okay, yeah. So, and the last thing that I wanted to pull from the other answers was you've mentioned, a couple times now you play for fun, and you do things that you create your roots as a team. You do things together as a team. Obviously, the MDI, the event itself is stressful, but prepping and planning is stressful. It's a lot of pressure. And we do see teams that regularly swap players out for whatever reason, like real life happens, whether there's conflict in the team itself. Ducks has been, like, you guys have been one solid team from the beginning with no turnover. What is your secret?
I don't think this would ever happen, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if everyone else in this group sees the same thing as I do, but I think that it is. But this is a community, essentially. It's just a 5-person community, but it's like, it's friendship. That's all. You have fun. So I would say for a team that plays competitively, that actually chases the first place prize, this might be natural. It's kind of esports field now. But for us, again, keep in mind, this is something we do for fun. This is something that we just do it because we enjoy it. So there is no reason to swap anyone in or out. I mean, believe me, there are many arguments, quite often. But this is the nature of it, I'll just quote Goat that he relishes upon arguments.
I like that. Ducks together strong. That's that quote, right? From that movie, Ducks Together. I think that's how that works. I like that. Hopefully we don't ever see a change. We are happy with the Ducks roster as it is, and watching the growth is incredible. And it's because it's the same team, it really makes that growth, I think, more impressive. Let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk event. We're in the event. It's, as we mentioned, it's stressful. It's a long event. It takes place over many weekends. When you're in the MDI, do any of you have tricks or tips, or what do you do to keep your nerves down in between matches? And how do you spend your time in between games? Maybe start with Luca.
Oh man, I feel like it's very personal what everyone does. I don't know. I'm fairly used to the pressure, and like I thrive on it. Really, I feel like I play better. I feel like we all did this time around as well. We kind of had our best runs during the tournament on some maps. Not everyone was good, obviously, but that's the same as practice, right? But we still had our best times on the fewer maps just during the tournament itself. I mean, yeah, between the games, it's just prepping for the next one. I mean, that's all there is to it. Like, especially this time around was also different because of how far we got. we had to play for, well, the whole weekend, and then another time, like another weekend 2 weeks later. Whereas usually it's more, okay, first game on the Friday evening, we lost, we just played the loser bracket game on the Saturday, and that's it. But playing through 3 days and having the pressure for 3 days was also a learning experience, I guess. Like, it wasn't difficult or anything, but it was something at least personally, I've learned this time around.
Okay. Anybody else? So what do you do to keep your nerves to stay calm in the pressure cooker of the MDI?
I don't really have anything that, like, specific that I do. I just try not to die of nervousness. But yeah, to add on what Lucas said, this time was, I think, like towards the last day, I think, in the global finals. I feel like we all played a bit worse, probably just because it's the first time that we had to play for this long. Like, me personally, I wasn't too happy with my performance on the last day. I think we could have done better, but I would say that's probably because of what Lucas said about playing so much more than we did last time. Because we're used to just playing for like 1 or 2 days and then dropping out, so it was very different this time.
Right. What you're telling me is for season 2 or season 3, you'll be better practiced. You'll do better on the global finals because you'll have that experience.
For sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I love it. All right, Quarks, hit me. Somebody's got to have some relaxation technique, something. You go for a bunch of massage, you smoke a bunch of pot. I don't know if I can say that on the stream.
No, I don't do such things. I mean, I don't know, I may occasionally have a glass of wine, but that's it. But I would say that okay, we've all had nervous moments. I know for myself I did, definitely during the tournament. I can't really explain it why, because the thing is that usually during the tournaments, the way I try to see it is just go for a game. But the difference between a run during the tournament and during practice is that during practice, the key starts and everybody's talking. Everybody's just speaking, saying random things, blah, 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 blah. You're in a chill mode. But when the tournament run starts, everybody's quiet. Like it's silent everywhere. Only the very laconic sayings. Only what's needed. Kick this, blah blah. Do that at the end. So the silence and the fact that at the same time someone else is playing and the people are watching you kind of makes you feel the stress. But I wouldn't say that this is a big obstacle or so. It's more like what Mosa and Luca said. It's more like fatigue being an enemy rather than stress. Yeah.
I like that. Maybe you should record the trial, the time trial practice, and then play that audio through your headphones. Yeah, simulate.
Maybe.
Yeah, simulate practice. I like that.
This is also why the TGP style is more tiring and relaxing at the same time, because you have 5 hours where you are running a more chill run. It's not all just on the moment, even though it kind of is, but not as much. But it's also lasts 5 hours or so. It drains you.
That is a great. Are you reading my notes? That was an excellent segue you just gave us into TGP.
Maybe you're sharing screen and you haven't realized.
Yeah. Quarks will be turns out he's actually a podcaster in real life, and he's quite good at this. So let's talk about TGP and MDI and sort of those differences between them and maybe what you prefer. So the MDI style, obviously, it's a race against time and a set key level, and it's just it's. I don't want to say it's more technical, but I feel like it's less forgiving of mistakes maybe than TGP, whereas TGP is a little bit more. Like you mentioned, you have some room to breathe a little bit. Which do you prefer?
Personally, I prefer MDI. It's a bit. It's funny because before we did the first season of MDI, what we wanted to do was TGP in the first place. We just figured, well, season 1 was MDI, so there's no TGP. We'll just play MDI, whatever. Like, it just pass time, right? And I don't know. To me, that's like the first time I get to see the game in a completely different way. It's like a lot more similar to what the raid for World First Guild do, which is you go into the dungeon. There's no guide online you can go look up that's going to tell you what to do. You just have to figure it out. It's the time trials. No one is streaming. Just go and you have to figure it out. And that way of playing the game, I like it a lot. It's something I don't want to stop doing, basically.
Yeah, I agree with Luke. I think MDI is like it's a different approach to dungeons than what we're used to, just pushing keys. And so TGP just feels like more of the same.
Right.
But MDI feels different, like you're doing something different. It's definitely more like more fun, more high stakes per game, because like you fuck up this game and it's over. But in TGP, like you keep going at it for 5 hours, and it's like it's relaxing. True, like you have time for your nerves to go down, but it's also more boring because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you the same, Quarks? You lock it in on MDI?
I agree, but I have noticed a shift in my preference of this over during Dragonflight and now in War Within. It's like when we first started the MDI was a new experience. And to be honest with you, also during practice, the first season actually drained myself as well. Like I was actually getting frustrated sometimes. I was like, oh, come on, I want to go back to live and things like this. And I'm not going to lie, it does still happen in some strenuous cases of practice still, but it's a lot less than what it was. But looking back to the season's tournaments that we have participated so far, I'd definitely say that MDI has something more unique, a more unique flavor that you actually enjoy a lot more than exactly what Mosa said, more of the same that you experience TGP. TGP is more familiar to what you play on live. The MDI offers you this something different that you enjoy. It breaks the monotony, and in the end of the day, you come to enjoy more the fact that it's more competitive. There are more stakes while you play the game. The time run has its own unique, flavor. That's all.
Yeah. When you leave the MDI, when you walk out of the MDI, you go back to live. Is there like a bit of a hangover? Or are you like, oh, I just want to do this faster? And I'm at 12.
Honestly, right after it ends, okay, maybe for a very short time, but usually there is just, okay, I need a break now.
Okay. All right, let's stay focused on TGP for a second. I'm going to ask a question. Maybe you're not ready to make this announcement publicly, but will we see Ducks enter the TGP in season 1?
We're going to try.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah?
If we qualify, yeah.
Fingers crossed. I believe. Yeah. I believe. I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. We've talked a lot of MDI, a lot of Warcraft, a lot of Ducks lore. But let's find out, what do you do? Like, do you guys do anything outside of the game together? Or is it just, hey, we play Warcraft, these guys don't exist outside of Azeroth?
Well, together, not really. I think we just, I'm trying to think if we do something else, but no, it's mostly just the keys, yeah. I mean, it's already... It's still like the people I hang out the most online with, like, even if it's just doing keys.
Yeah. Okay. What type do you play? Other games yourself, solo outside of Warcraft?
Me, yeah. Well, mostly with other people. Like I play Final Fantasy, like doing some raiding over there, and just single player games or whatever.
Okay. Quarks?
Not really, although I'm a bit of a nerd on chess, but not advanced, not very advanced, but it's just another extracurricular hobby, let's say. But other than that, not really, just World of Warcraft.
Okay, I'm a solo Warcrafter myself. That chess is good; it keeps the mind sharp. I like that. Yeah. What about you, Moza?
Don't really play any other multiplayer games, but I play a lot of single player games every now and then between playing World of Warcraft. But it just like WoW just takes so much time out of your day, like between that
Yep.
and between working, and it's like sometimes you don't have time to do anything else.
Right.
Especially the days we're practicing, I literally don't have time. I go to work, I come back, I practice, and then I sleep, and then it's all over again for the entire week. So there isn't really a lot of time to do like a lot of other things.
I love that. Yeah, rinse and repeat. It's like one of those cartoons where it's like alarm clock. He's up, he's showered, he's at work, he's at his desk for work. After he's back in bed.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Guys, that's all the questions I had. I want to say just two things before we wrap it up here. Number one, congratulations on a huge MDI season 1. Honestly, it was such a treat to watch, to see you guys go through. Being as involved with the MDI as we are, it's like we really get to see teams grow and perform. When they're performing well, it feels really good, especially when it's a group of people who are obviously passionate about the game. And the second thing is, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and talk to us, because I know you're all busy. Yeah,
it's our pleasure. I think it's we enjoyed this. You know, it's even just for a chat. It was quite fun.
And I lied. I have one last question. Where can we get Ducks Can Fly merch?
It's very premature, I think.
Most I can ask your guild for some AI pictures of ducks.
Yeah,
Indeed. Yeah, Moses' guild is like
a bunch of AI pictures of ducks during the games. It was maybe we could make some merch of that.
All right. Yeah, well, keep your eyes peeled for the duck store. Let's wrap things up. Let's tell everybody one more time where they can find you if you want them to find you. We'll go reverse order this time. We'll go Moza first. Moza, where can everybody find you?
I don't really have any socials, unfortunately, but you can find me in game for Moza Bloodfeather.
There we will. That works. Everybody who's watching this is in the game. I guarantee it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Quarix?
For me, I used to stream. I may restart it again. I don't know. But my Twitch profile is Combust-TV. Maybe if I start streaming, you can find me there again. We will see in the near future. In game, I am playing with a guild named Death and Glory on Silvermoon. It's a Greek guild. It's another community in game. Those guys I also love. And I'm playing a mage. Quarux at Silvermoon. You'll find me there.
Perfect. And Luca?
So my Twitch was Luca_wow, Luca with a K. And yeah, it's same as it said before. I haven't streamed in a while, but every now and then, if I feel like it, you might catch me. And yeah, that's about it. There's just one last thing I wanted to say as well. It's just for people that like, if you have a team, to give it a try. Just try to participate in the MDI, because I think it's a really fun thing to just see for yourself, and like, even if you're just participating in the time trials, just running the dungeons a couple times, then you can also watch the cup and see the teams do it in 7 minutes or whatever, and realize how difficult that is when you actually try it yourself.
I like that. That's a good message. I wish I could grab some chatters by the collar and say, you go try it. that is good
true.
Advice.
Some people underestimate it. But it's true. Some people believe that Mythic Plus is just, you do the same and the same again, and they're nothing compared to raid progression and things like this. But it's not like that at all. It has its own set of difficulties, and one could argue it has an infinite amount of difficulty. So
yeah, and especially if you're in the middle of a run and you make one mistake, and maybe we don't see it as a viewer, but it happened, and you're like, okay, that's going to cause difficulties down the line.
There are so many things that you have practiced behind runs that you passively do or have pre-planned, and just a minor tiny thing may just cause a chain of events that nobody captures except for you and your teammates. So
yeah, I love that. I think that's a great way to end this. For anybody listening and watching, thank you so much for checking out the Ducks Can Fly Roundtable. Make sure to cheer them on for the great push when it comes up in Season 1 of War Within. I've been Sean with RIO. Thanks for watching.
funny. I would
Well,
say.
Mosa should
But-
say it because he's the one that experienced it the most.
Okay.
I mean, it's just basically that during practice for our first season in the MDI, I didn't really have any issues with the internet. I did DC like every now and then. I had a few like lag spikes, but it wasn't like anything significant. But then in our first game, our first day in the MDI, I basically, actually our first day I didn't really lag much, and then the second day in the loser bracket, I just DC'd every 5 seconds literally, and it was it was very stressful, just dying every now and then, every 5 seconds literally, and just hearing the cast. I don't think the casters even realized that I was DCing.
No.
It's like, oh, he's dead
And
again.
then
No,
nobody
yeah.
else did. And then I remember someone was saying like, "Oh, that's the enhancement glass cannon. He does damage, but then he just dies easily." But it wasn't that at all. I was just DCing literally every other minute, and that I think I died 8 times in that Halls of Valor.
Oh, yeah.
And then I
because
also
we
just kept
also-
lagging the entire weekend.
But the crazy thing with that Musa game where he DC'd just the entire time basically is that we still won that map.
What?
yeah.
With
Well,
Musa dying,
he-
I think he died 9 times.
She
during-
kept DCing later on. But yeah, that map we won it because they wiped like I don't remember where, on Fenrir or I don't
It was
remember which.
yeah. The
Okay.
Seeing
the
that, we
similar-
like,
on
oh,
Shadow.
this stuff is really, this MDI stuff is easy. We could forehand this.
Yeah. It's not like that.
It was also just
It's not like that.
the shaman special of just dying, pressing Ankh, but still lagging, dying again. I was playing Resto Shaman, we had Ankh Totem, he would just keep getting raised and dying immediately.
Yeah,
That's
so many.
funny.
Yeah, there are a lot of behind the scenes things.
But
Or
that is,
like the Court of Stars run, where
yeah.
it was a first Court of Stars in the MDI season 1. It was a remake because the other team, they couldn't take the boat. But so we tried a quite hard pull, especially for us at that time. We had never participated in such a thing before, and we actually got it. We did it. And we were like, okay, we did the hardest part of the key, and then we get notified, oh, we need to do a remake, and we are like, oh my god.
Yeah, and then we did
yeah.
the remake, and then we wipe on that first pull, and that
Oh.
cost us the game.
It's a 50-50, you either make it or you don't.
Yeah. That's
or you make it and you don't,
But yeah,
Yeah.
so basically that just DCing like that over and over again on our first MDI it just became a meme basically that I'll just be DCing every MDI.
Yeah.
But this one was okay. Yeah.
from now on, whenever
Thankfully.
you die, I'll be like, oh, he probably DC'd. That's
It does get you a bit of a cold sweat when the last practice run before the game you get Mosa DCing. Like, oh no.